Why is Facebook not working? Not working, not working, not working. Guys, thank you for Baba, thank you for joining. Thank you everyone that's joined. Just give me a minute. I'm just sorting out technical issues that we have right here, please. Technical issues, technical issues, technical issues, technical issues, technical issues. Technical issues. I don't know why this is messing about. Okay, 1 minute, almost. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for joining. Please, your patience is highly appreciated. Thank you everyone that's joined. Thank you for joining. Just trying to sort out technical issues that's affecting the live stream. Hopefully, we can get the ball rolling in a jiffy. Okay. Sorry about the delays. We're way behind time. This is not normal. Thank you for joining. We're live now on YouTube as well, live on TikTok. Just trying to sort out why there's an issue with Facebook. I don't know why this keeps happening. Okay, let's try one more time. We're live. Let's close it. Try one more time. Let's go live. Sorry guys. Sorry guys. Thank you for your patience. We'll go live in a minute or two. What's going on? Internet is working. Internet again. Okay, connected. Sorry, this things do happen sometimes, but it was never intended. Okay, sorry guys. We will go live in a jiff. Okay, how do we make this? Go live. What keeps you going? Okay, go live. Let's try one more time. Facebook. Okay, we are live everywhere. Facebook, TikTok, and what's it called? LinkedIn, YouTube. Sorry, guys. We're live. 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 So, yeah. Okay. For those that just want to send this out because I guess it might have changed. For those that are wondering, we are live. 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 Sorry, guys. We are way behind schedule. 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 Okay, 1 minute, guys. Way behind schedule. Way behind schedule. We are down. Okay. Sorry, guys, for the setback. Never intended. This is the kind of issues we have. So, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. This is what's it called? Another live stream. Sunday live stream. I call it on this Equal Speaks. So um we will what's it called? 1 minute, guys. 1 minute, guys. Just want to sort this out now. Sorry, guys. Just a minute. We will definitely make this work. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you for joining. Thank you everyone that's joined. Sorry for all the technical issues. Things like this do happen, but hopefully it doesn't. It's not a reoccurrence or it doesn't keep happening. So basically, guys, we are. If you wake up in the morning and you have no zeal, or you don't feel like leaving your bed, stuck in a job, not fulfilled, maybe it's a job you love or a job you don't love. Um, you've done all you can. You're welcome. Like I always say to you guys, I'm also when we have these sessions, as much as it might seem like I'm the one um, coordinating or facilitating or what have you, I'm still here to learn because I learned from last week was amazing. I learned from everyone that has shared, and I'm still learning from. I'm open to learning. I never get to a point where it seems like, oh, we've achieved, we've arrived. No, no. So, quick intro. My name is Onyakwelu. For those that don't know, I um, I'll be your host for today. So today we're going to be diving deep into what keeps you going. That's a topic that was resonating in my heart for today's life. What keeps you going? So I'm going to ask as a quick teaser. Hopefully that helps us go into the conversation. So if this is what a question I'm going to ask you guys. So let me know what your comments are, your thoughts are in the comment section, or please. So the question goes like this: if you are to have a dinner with one person, dead or alive, if you're going to have a dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would that person be? If you're going to have a dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would that person be? This was a question that someone asked me in a podcast that I did. The host asked me in the podcast I did. If I was to have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who will that person be? So remember the question. If you're going to have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would that person be? Let me know in the comment section who that person is for you. I will also, I hope I remember to share with you guys who the person is for me. If you're gonna have dinner with someone else, who will that person be? Okay. So yeah, that's that. So let's take it on. Let's move on. So don't forget. I like that. Can we put it in the comment section? Who would that person be, dead or alive? Who would that person be? What are your thoughts? If you're gonna have dinner with someone, who would that person be? Let us know in the comment section. Let us know in the comment section. So let's take it on. What do I do now? I think I shared the long way. Okay. What keeps you going? What keeps you going through challenges isn't success or comfort, isn't knowledge of not knowing our life has meaning. A life that matters turns struggles into steps towards purpose. So that's is just to make us understand or to give us a snippet into what we're discussing. So the main topic is what keeps us going, and the theme is a life that matters. So a life that matters. So what keeps my to a great extent, with the little knowledge I have or the little exposure or learning or so, I would love to say that what keeps us going is a life that matters. When one has a life that matters, it makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. So today we're going to be discussing six main pillars. Six main pillars. So, and number one of those pillars is purpose. Number one of those pillars is purpose. So, just to help us understand it better, I'm going to what's it called? I'm going to just I'm a man of books. Books have changed my life. So I would want to read some like few bits from a book that has helped me so much. This book is my most gifted book. Like I've given this book out to a lot of people I know. Like my most gifted book, and it's called Purpose Driven Life. So I'm going to draw out some things from here. You know, remember what we're talking about. What keeps us going is a life that matters. And for us to better understand that, one of the key things we're going to talk about now is one. We're going to talk six pillars. And the first pillar we're going to talk about one is what? Purpose. Purpose. That's the main first pillar we're going to talk about today. Purpose. So, and to help us better understand it, this book has transformed my life. It's sold over 30 million copies. It's a New York Times bestseller. There's a reason why 30 million people have bought this book. So it's important that if you don't have it or if you never come across this book before, I highly recommend it for you. It's written by a guy called um, Rick Warren, by a guy called Rick Warren, and it's called Purpose Driven Life. And we're going to draw some things from it, and hopefully we learn a thing or two about that will help us to stay motivated. So I remember I just want to share a little story. I remember gifting this book to two persons. I gave it to so many people, but I remember giving it to two persons. One of them was a father of a friend that I know, and he had so many habits. And one of those habits was he smoked. So I gifted this book to him. I didn't know how to preach Christ to him, or didn't know how to tell him anything about Jesus or whatever. I gave him the book, and not long, his daughter, which is a close friend of one of my siblings, she's called me and said to me, "Do you know that as a result of that book you gave my father, that my father has learned a lot from that book, and he's the one now that leads our thank you for the like, guys. He's the one now that leads our he wakes up in the morning, let's read the Bible, let's do things." This was someone that never did that kind of something. It's not a horrible man. Drinks, I don't know if he drinks, but I know he smokes, and I don't know what his other lifestyle is like. But as a result of what he learned from that book, he was so inspired that he started bringing his children and started making them, okay, let's read our Bibles, let's start in the morning and everything. He's gone to be with the Lord. He's passed away now. But this is one of the impacts that book had. It can transform people's life. Another person was, I think I gave it to someone, a commissioner, a government official, and I think his cousin met me in the UK and said, "Do you know you gifted my uncle a book and Purpose Driven Life?" And I opened it and I read it, and my mind was blown away. So it's just to show what the impact books can have. So I'm going to read from page 19 of the Purpose Driven Life, written by Rick Warren. So. And I'd like you guys to pay attention to form some basis of our conversation. So remember what we talked about. One of the pillars is purpose. So I'm going to read from the book. It says, Dr. Hugh Moorhead, a philosopher, a philosophy professor at Northeastern Illinois University, once wrote to 250 best-known philosophers, scientists, writers, intellectuals in the world, asking them, what is the meaning of life? Then he published their responses in a book. Some offered their best guesses. Some admitted that they just made up the purpose of life. And others were honest enough to say they were clueless. In fact, a number of famous intellectuals asked Professor Moorhead to write back and tell them if he discovered the purpose of life. And tell them if he discovered the purpose of life. So the author went on. He says, fortunately, there is an alternative to speculations about the meaning and the purpose of life. It's revelation. We can turn to what God has revealed about life in His Word. The easiest way to discover the purpose of an invention is to ask the creator of it. The same is true for discovering your life's purpose. Ask God. God has not left us in the dark to wonder and guess. He has clearly revealed His five purposes of our life through the Bible. It's our own owner's manual, explaining why we are alive, how life works, what to avoid, and what to expect in the future. It explains what no self-help or philosophy book could know. The Bible says God's wisdom goes deep into the interior of His purposes. It's not the latest message, but more like the oldest. What God determined as the way to bring out His best in us. Then the author went on and said, God is not just the starting point of life, He is the source of it. To discover your purpose in life, you must turn to God, not the world's wisdom. You must build your life on internal truths, not pop philosophy, success motivation, or inspirational stories. The Bible says, and this is one of my most profound scriptures, guys, listen to it. It is in Christ that we find out who we are and what we are living for. I'm going to repeat that. It is in Christ that we find out who we are and what we are living for. In other words, the purpose of life can only be found from the manufacturer of life. And the Bible makes us understand it. It is through Christ. Then I'll continue with the scripture. Say, long before we first heard of Christ and got our hopes up, he had his eyes on us, had designed us for glorious living, part of the overall purpose he is working out in everything and everyone. I think that's Ephesians chapter 1, I believe 26. Ephesians 1 verse 26. So the author went on to say, this verse gives us 3 insights into your purpose. 1, you discover your identity and purpose through a relationship with Christ. That's 1. 2, sorry, that's the 1. If you don't have such a relationship, send me a DM and we can have that conversation on how you can have that relationship. Number 2, God was thinking of you long before you ever thought about him. His purpose for your life predates your conception. He's planned it before you existed, without your input. You may choose your career, your spouse, your hobbies, and many other parts of life, but you don't get to choose your purpose. Guys, I want to repeat that. You may choose your career, your spouse, your hobbies, and many other parts of life, but you don't get to choose your purpose. Let's not forget that. Number 3 says the purpose of life fits into a much larger cosmic purpose that God has designed for eternity. That's what this book is about. So I'll continue what the author said. It says Andrei Bitov, a Russian novelist, grew up under an atheist communist regime. But God got his attention one dreary day. He recalls, in my 27th year, while riding the metro in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, I was overcome with a despair so great that life seemed to stop at once. Preempting the future entirely, let alone any meaning. Suddenly, all by itself, a phrase appeared. What was that phrase, guys? Without God, life makes no meaning. I'll take it again. Without God, life makes no meaning. So he went on to say, repeating it in astonishment, I rolled the phrase up like a moving staircase, got out of the metro, and walked into God's light. So the author went on to say, thank you guys for the gifts. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for joining the live. I can see you. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Uchenna. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you. There's so many other people's names that I've missed out. Sorry about that if I miss you. You may have felt in the dark about your purpose in life. Congratulations. You are about to walk into light. So I'm going to wrap up the author's points on this stuff. It says here, what we should ponder on is that it's not about me. Purpose is not about me or you. Thank you, Jackie Jat. Thank you for the likes. Thank you guys for the likes. It says that a question to consider. In spite of all the advertisements around me, how can I remind myself that life is really about living for God and not myself? So remember, guys, that what we're talking about here is a life that matters. A life that what matters. And our link, we are saying that, sorry guys, I'll take it back again. What we're talking about here is what keeps you going. And for you to have, for whatever to work for you, or to keep going in life, we're linking it to say that your life must matter. And for your life to matter, we're discussing 6 pillars. And the number 1 pillar we're discussing today is purpose. It's purpose. Purpose. And we just read an author. And what we read, the summary of what we read is that this author said that a philosopher gave 250 professors a question. What is the definition of life? And none of them answered that question. None of them answered that question. So guys, the Bible makes us understand, and the author reminded us that it is in Christ that we get our definition. Our definition of life, the purpose of why we are here, cannot be gotten from any book, from your parents, from your government, from anything. It can only be gotten through what? The Maker. And the Maker is who? the God of the creator of the heavens and the earth. He's the one that made your life, except you made yourself. Yes, people might have scientific explanations or conjure up one meaning or the other, but I believe, and if you don't know the purpose of your life, you will not have any zeal to do anything. You will not have any zeal to wake up in the morning. You will not have any zeal towards life. Life will have no meaning. Sorry, guys, I just want to bring this in. I met someone, a police officer, and I was having a conversation with him. And I said to him, on the top of, this is in the UK, on the top of the list of all the things that you get phone calls for, what is the number one on that list? And he said, suicide. Suicide. People, because they have no meaning, no purpose to life, they want to take their life. I said, taking their life, how? He said, by self-harm, by jumping off the bridge, by different things. That will happen when there is no hope. It is in Christ that we find out who we are. Ephesians 6 verse 1. And what we are living for. Sorry, Ephesians 1 verse, I believe. Ephesians 1, I think 26 or so. So purpose is derived from the Creator and not from anything else. The Bible makes us understand that it is through Christ. So we're going to move on. So in Christ, we find out who we are and what we live on. Knowing why you exist gives you direction, guys. When you know the purpose of why you exist, you get direction. Purpose anchors your life when life feels unstable. It's very important. So, and remember, guys, that a life of Christ doesn't just end on this earth. When people pass away, I was having a conversation with someone. I said to him, in spite of all your views and everything, I strongly respect them. I said to him, what did I say? I said to him, what happened when people die? He couldn't answer that question. He has amazing analogy, fantastic idea. I say, when people die, what happens? When people die, what happened? He couldn't really say anything. But the Bible has given us clear understanding of what happens when people die. The Bible says, after death, judgment. It's not to scare anyone, but that is the truth. After death, judgment. So in Christ, you find out the purpose. This is what the Bible makes us understand, that life, we don't die. When you read that book, Purpose Driven Life, it makes you understand. It says, we don't die. We transit from this body to a celestial body. There is a life after earth. So this life is in continuum. We continue. There's a life after earth. So after this, we continue. So guys, it's just to say to us, in Christ, purpose becomes eternal and not temporary. Purpose becomes what? Eternal and not temporary. 1 minute, guys. I think there's an issue and I need to just sort that out. 1 minute, please. People are trying to join and I don't know whether they find it difficult. So, let me just sort them out, especially those that want to join from YouTube. I don't think they have the link. I posted it up on my status, but I don't know if they're seeing it. Yeah, I hope that you guys are learning a thing or two. Soon I'll be adding people to the live so we can get contributions. Please feel if you are happy, if you want to join the conversation, please let me know. Send me a message or request to join. Please request to join. Request to join. Request to join. And I will add you, please. Request to join and I'll add you. Request to join and I will add you. Request to join the live and I will add you if you want to join, so that when it's time for the engagements, we go live. Okay. Request to join and I'll add you guys. Okay. Request to join and I'm going to add you. Request to join and I'll add you. Request to join and I'll add you. I'm just trying to sort people out that are asking me for the link. Sorry, people. Sorry for the break in transmission. So that's for I'm just sorting people out that are joining from YouTube, please. 1 minute, guys. So so far, let us know what you've learned. If you've learned a thing or two, let us know. We'll continue in a jiffy. 1 minute, please. In a jiffy. Normally, guys, if people come and there's a technical issue like this, please, if you check on my profile photo, what do you call it? What's it called? what's it called? Yeah. So that's it. Well, we're done. Let me go back on the live. Let me go back on the live. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, guys, for staying on. Thank you very much, guys, for staying on. Okay, let's move on. Remember that we're talking. We have six anchor, six core conversations. Sorry, core pillars. We're going to be having a conversation on as we discuss what keeps us going, and as we discuss a life that matters. So our topic is what keeps us going, and the theme is a life that matters. All right. So, yeah. So now another stuff we're going to talk about is what? Happiness. 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 So, happiness is something that I believe that based on, guys, everything I'm having a conversation on, I drew inspiration from them, or I learned them from what? Books. This is a book that's transformed my life. It's called Slight Edge. If you guys look it up, it's by a guy called Jeff Oslo. Remember, the first book we made reference to was Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. And this is the second book that we are making reference to. Guys, 1 minute, please. Let's sort my daughter out. 1 minute. Okay, I think they sorted out themselves. Okay, so, and we're discussing here about happiness. From what I've learned from this book and in general in life, I find that happiness will keep you going, and happiness gives you a life that matters. Happiness keeps you going, and happiness gives you a life that matters. So I'm just going to draw something very quickly from what I from page 108. The author says here, happiness is created by doing some simple things, easy things, and doing them every day. Happiness created by what? Doing some simple things, easy things, and doing them every day. He went on to say, success does not lead to happiness. Guys, this is very profound. Success does not lead to happiness. It's the other way around. More happiness creates more success. More happiness creates more success. He went on to say, elevated levels of happiness create elevated levels of health, performance, social involvement, marital fulfillment, financial and career success, and longevity. He went on to say, greater happiness is key to making the slight edge work in your life. So I'm going to recap what slight edge is all about. Then he went on to say, these are some of the things he shared, and if you look at the book, you find them. He says, Sean's anchor five happy habits. Sean's is talking about maybe the guy he made reference to in some few pages before this. And one of the things the guy says, one, every morning write down 3 things you are grateful for. What are you grateful for? I'm always grateful for life. That I can wake up from my bed and move like this without my spinal cord give me a problem. Because some people are bedridden, they need a hoist to take them up. I'm always grateful for it. That I'm alive, I'm grateful for it. That I can breathe and I don't need, if you doubt the impact of breathing, let it give you oxygen to breathe and try and see whether it's comfortable. Breathing is a gift from life, for God. And he said, every morning, write down 3 things you are grateful for. That's one. Second, he says, journal for 2 minutes a day about a positive experience from the past 24 hours. So you can write down for 2 minutes what happens in the past 24 hours. You can write that down. And he went on to say, meditate daily for a few minutes. So create time to meditate. I do a lot of meditation when I'm doing my walk. I walk for like 10,000 steps. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of meditation when I'm doing my exercise. I do a lot of meditation. So create daily time for meditate daily for a few minutes. Then he went on to say, at the start of every day, write an email to someone praising them or thanking them. So it must not be an email. Send a text message to someone or a WhatsApp message praising them or thanking them or telling them what they are capable of doing or calling them out to say, you can do this, or I see this in you. These are steps to take to generating happiness. Because remember what the author said, success does not lead to happiness. He says the other way around. He said, happiness creates more success. Guys, remember. And the last thing he says is, get 15 minutes of simple cardio exercise exercise a day. 60 minutes of simple cardio exercise a day. Because it said that when you exercise, it releases dopamine, they do this or they do that. I try my best. I'm not like at my health, I've not attained my health goals. But I tried my best that no matter how little I must do, even if it's 15 minutes, something to pump me up, God will help us. So remember, guys, it's Slight Edge. This is a book that talks about doing little things every day towards your goal. He said that sometimes when you don't do little things, when you don't do something a day towards your goal, it might not show. But if over time you stop doing anything, compounding, it will show that you have not taken steps towards your goal. So I hope that helps to help us understand that happiness is not just a feeling, it's built daily through what? Gratitude. We'll discuss that from what we just saw. Happiness comes from living aligned with values, not chasing pleasure. Happiness comes from service, joy, meaning, not short-term highs. And I hope that we are learning from what we discussed. So, guys, I'll say again, our topic is what keeps us going, and our theme is a life that matters. And we have discussed that if you have your purpose, it will keep you going. If you are someone that is happy, it will keep you going. And the next thing we're going to talk about is personal development. Personal development. I just want to strike this off. Personal development. Personal development. Okay. So, personal development keeps you going. Thanks, Venus. Yes, I can send the link for you to get the book online, but it's called Purpose Driven Life. And I can put that, or Venus, you can look it up and help me put it up on the chat for people to. So remember, guys, the first book we read was Purpose Driven Life. You can get that on Amazon or anywhere. You can even buy it on eBay. Their copies as cheap as £3. Also, the next one is this one, Slight Edge, by a guy called Jeff Oslo. So you might want to look that up. So we're going to move on. Remember, guys, we discussed purpose, we discussed happiness, and we're now discussing personal development. So personal development. How do I'll talk, and everything I share, I'm not here to just share head knowledge or whatever. I'm sharing things that I do myself. I might not yet have achieved my goals, but I'll share things that I do, So, okay. That camera is not working. Okay. Okay. So let's take it up from there. So how do we improve ourselves? For me, I read the Bible. I start my day with the Bible. And it makes a whole lot of difference. I always tell people, if you read at least a chapter of the Bible every day, you make huge difference to your personal development, to your life, to your relationship with God, with your family. It will make a huge difference. So next thing is that from this book, from my mentor, I was challenged to read 10 pages a day from this book. 10 pages a day. Guys, this is cultivating a habit of lifelong learning, a habit to keep learning, not a learning that is propelled by results. Like you're studying because you want to pass an exam, you're studying because you want to get certification. No, a habit to keep studying. If you don't keep improving yourself with books and keep adding value to yourself, soon you start depreciating. To him that even at old age keeps adding value, or keeps not adding more knowledge, or keeps developing yourself, will keep improving, will keep growing, and will keep advancing. They always say people that lead are people that read. So I want to encourage us. Make it a habit to read 10 pages a day. You might struggle, like I do sometimes. You can make it 5, you can make it 2, you can make it 3, but I've not come to see that if you do 10 pages a day, it makes a whole lot of difference. When I get my routine right, I wake up like 4:30 a.m. in the morning or 5, and whatever it is that I have that day, I wake my children up by 7 a.m. I try my best to do the most I can within that time before I wake them up. Read my Bible, pray, I spend time singing, and I must read some pages of day before I go to wake the children up. You can do that. You can add value to yourself by nowadays we have there's what's called book summaries, book summary app, and the one I use is called Blinkist. So it will summarize a book for you in 15 minutes. So you can either read it or you can listen to it. So I want to encourage you. One other way we can develop ourselves is through book summary apps. Another way we can develop ourselves is through ebooks. Guys, if you on YouTube there are ebooks. On sorry, on Google has ebooks. That's on the app. I mean, like on the App Store. I'm sure Apple will have the same because I'm not conversant with that. Amazon, I'm sure we know there's ebooks on Amazon. So that will help to improve your life. Even if you're on the go or someone that's always busy, you can pop in an ebook and you listen to it. If you make these things a habit, they'll keep adding value to you. And if you look for books that are relevant to your situation, it will make a whole lot of difference. Podcasts, like on YouTube, I have a podcast playlist of the things that of areas that I want to listen to. And whenever I pause and I continue, I pause and I continue, I keep reading and continue. So that will add value to you guys. Trainings, guys, sermons, webinars, courses, seminars, webinars, they'll do a great things to you. If your trainings, physical trainings, they'll all add value to you. So remember, guys, growth is the bridge between where you are and where you are called to be. So habits will help, good habits will help to give you motivation, and discipline will help to give you long-term wins. So investing in learning and skills will give you skills and will help your mindset. The more you invest in yourself, the more to empower you with skills, the more you have mindset. Just like now, they say AI is all over the place. It's not a buzzword, guys. I use AI to organize myself before I get here. ChatGPT, Gemini. I use AI to create the videos that you guys see. My team use AI to develop different things. So guys, make the most of adding value to yourself. You can never go wrong. So next thing we're going to talk about quickly as we wrap up this and allow you guys to come on and make contributions is what? Relationships. Relationships. We discussed this last Sunday, and I believe that what will keep you going are the relationships you have. I believe that a life that matters is centered around good relationships. So, guys, I'm sure you people know I grew up in Kaduna, that's northern Nigeria. Thank you, Jackie J, and thank you everyone that's joined the live. Maye, Vincent, Ifeanyi, thanks, and thank you, Bola Adedeji, thank you, Dennis, thank you, by J Fash, and every other ones, even those on YouTube. Thank you very much. I grew up in Kaduna, northern Nigeria, and I grew up to know that the Chinese people had a community where they stayed together. We called it Chinese quarters. And in the evening, we always saw them walking towards, there's a particular hall where they go in to go and socialize and stay with themselves. Opposite my house where I grew up, we had German quarters where people, like a company, got a block of, like a yard with like different apartments, and everyone there was working for Bista Bleeding, a company, and German people was there. They had a community there. So the same thing with the Indians. I'm sure you guys might agree with me. Virtually every country, I might be wrong, but I know Nigeria has. I know we have in New York. I also know we have in London, Chinatown. So that's like a conglomerate, like a place where they gather, like a cluster. where they gather to forge relationships, to improve their network, to enhance themselves. So I want to encourage you guys to take steps to improve your social capital. We discussed this last week. So if you missed it, you can go and watch that live. Improve yourself. We talked about social capital, and the more people you know, the less time it takes to solve most of your problems. So guys, improve yourself with improve your social capital. I want to also say this as well. If you have a community of people that come from ethnicity and they hold meetings and you are not part of them, you are doing wrong. For whatever reason, you're doing wrong. Man was not designed to be alone. Man was not designed to be alone. No man was designed to be an island. God designed man to be with people, to fellowship, to network, to have relationships. I remember in our own meeting with my fellow people from the same community where I'm from Enugu State in Nigeria. And the last meeting we had, there was this guy from Cameroon in the meeting. And the guy sat down in the meeting, and his friend introduced him and said that this guy was here during our last end of year party. And when I told him I was coming from Southampton to London for this meeting, the guy was surprised and was wow, and said he wanted to, can he come? And his friend said that's fine. So when he came, his friend that is a member of our meeting said, please, can we allow this guy to stay here? He's really I'm amazed by the kind of union we have and the way we're having conversations about where we come from. And the guy stayed all through the meeting from Cameroon, and he was saying that he's wished that he can stay and take some things that we're doing and go and show his people so that they can start doing the same thing. If you have a community of people from the same place, or from your alma mater, or from your state, or from where you come from, and you're not part of them, you're not doing right. Man was not designed to be alone. So I don't want to buttress on this because we took a whole time discussing it on last Sunday. So get that, please. And I also want to say that with all due respect to people that get married to different communities or different ethnicities or different religion or different what's it called? Different tribes. I always say this to people. In the university, we studied on the impact culture has on foreign direct investment. Guys, remember what I'm saying. The impact culture has on foreign direct investment. It's not every business that flourishes in every country. Once upon a time, there was Domino's in China. Chinese people don't eat pizza. That company folded up. You understand? I can go on and tell you companies that by virtue of it's just like you bringing a meat or so, a business that is not halal certified to a country that respects halal. It's not going to work. So culture is a big challenge in marriages and affects why some marriages don't succeed. So when you network with like minds or your people from your community, you get to know your community, you get to start from there if that is your choice, to make your choices if you have not yet made choice about marriage, and reduce the complexity. Because I remember when I wanted to get married to someone from a different community, a different tribe, and a mentor of mine said, it's okay, it's good, it's fine if you can do it. But are you ready for the culture shock? I don't forget that. Are you ready for the culture shock? Because the culture shock is enough to put the marriage under continuous pressure, except people always find a way around it, but there will be some form of pressure based on the cultural differences. So we move on. So intentionally revive relationships or keep building relationship with your family. If you're here and you're one of those that have challenges with your close families or friends or something, try. I know that it's not easy, but try. We're going to discuss this subsequently in other one of the Sundays. So you rise and fall with the people closest to you, guys. Healthy love, respect boundaries and services. Strong communities multiply strength and joy. So we're going to move on, guys. Time is fast spent. And we're going to talk about the next thing we're going to talk about is what? Finances. Finances. I strongly believe that to get going, we need to have our finances sorted. And to get going, or to have a life that matters, finances is important. And Jim Rohn, I don't have his book here, is one of the books that is one of the books that thanks Okioku, thanks Jackie J. One is one of the books that is in that book summary that I talked about. It's called Jim Rohn, and I think it's called. I'll show you about the name. I'll put it in search if I remember. His name is George, and he said one thing. He said that when you get your finances, he said his advice is this. He said apportion it 70-30, 70 for expenditures, 30 should be kept for three things. This is all. No. He said 10% should go for charities giving out, 10% should go for savings, and 10% should go for investments. But this is me taking it to the next level. I believe that it's 60 should be 60-40, 40%. 10% should go for helping people out, giving people. 10% should go for savings, investments, or what have you. 10% should go for what I think I'm trying to remember the third one. The sorry, I can't remember what he said. No, I had my own. If I remember, I'll let you know. But he said 70-30. I said 60-40. I can't remember my fourth one. I missed it out on my note. I wrote it somewhere. Friday, I'll let you guys know. But basically, what it is, guys, is that if one is going through financial issues, debts, and whatever, if you meet Jim Rohn, I think it's spelled Vincent is spelled J R O. Let me look for it. ROHN. Sorry, guys, I want to get the spelling. Someone was asking me for the spelling. Jim Rohn. I think it's ROHN. Yes, ROHN. Jim Rohn. And if I find the book, I'll let you guys know. Let me see if I can find it. ROHN. Jim Rohn. Where was that book? Where was that book? Okay, I think I can find it. I think it's called. Guys, 1 minute. Someone's asking me about the name of the book. Let me just look for it and I'll let them know. 1 minute. Jim Rohn. Yeah, I think I've seen it. Jim, have I seen it? No, I don't think I've seen it yet. Jim Rohn. Sorry, 1 minute. I just want to share it because where are you? Screenshots. I took a screenshot of it. Where's my screenshots? Oh, sorry, guys. Jim Rohn. If I wish screenshots. Here you are now. Okay. So, yes, it says "Leading an Inspired Life" by Jim Rohn. I think you will find it. Leading an Inspired Life. Let me type it. Leading an Inspired Life. I don't know if you guys can see that. Leading an Inspired Life. It's called Jim Rohn. Leading an Inspired Life, I think. Yeah. Sorry, guys. It's called Jim Rohn. Leading an Inspired Life. If you guys look it up. If I got it wrong, he has more than one book. Leading an Inspired Life by Jim Rohn. Leading an Inspired Life by Jim Rohn. So his Rohn is spelled ROHN. That's the title of the book. So, guys, if you need to meet, there are agencies that can help you sort out the debt if that's the issue. There are also agencies that can help you manage your finances, like advise you on what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not here to let you guys know what to do. But let's work on it. Our finances, the better we get our finances, the better we are things. And I always want to say to people, if you don't have alternative source of earning, it will keep affecting your zeal to wake up in the morning. If you have to always exchange your time for money, it will affect your zeal to wake up in the morning or to do anything or to keep you going. So we need to be working towards a path of financial freedom. That way, you to wake up in the morning will not be an issue. To do things will give you purpose. You have meaning in life. So we're going to move on. Money is a tool, not the mission. So financial freedom gives you options, security, and generosity. So the last point we're going to make before we start taking contributions, guys. So feel free to start send me a request, guys. To those that would want to make a comment, let me send as many that have indicated interest. Okay. Next point here is, guys, is health. You know, if one has a bad health, if one has a poor health, it's going to affect their motivation. It will make them, they will not it does a whole lot of things, guys. If one's health is not as where the person wants it to be, it's going to affect a lot of things. So I do want to encourage us to work on our health. Like I'm not someone that has authority to speak in this area, largely because I'm working on my health as well. So I have my fitness goals, I have where I want to be, I have one more. Yes, thank you very much, Vincent. Yes, that's Jim Rohn, ROH, and I think it's called leading a life that matters, something like that. So that's that. 1 minute, so let me just mute this person. Okay, thank you. All right. So there are some things that I'm now doing that I want to share, perhaps to help you. One of the things I do now is that I have a body scale. I have a body scale. I never used to have a body scale before, and I scale myself on a weekly basis. I realize that the more I weigh myself, the better it keeps me in tune with my towards my fitness goals. I'm not yet there. But I'm not where I used to be before. You get. So like I said earlier, I try my best to keep fit, if to do an activity, even if it's 15 minutes a day, whatever it is, doing it daily. So we discussed about this book, Slight Edge, that really helped me and keeps me motivated. So your body is your engine for purpose. So if your body is not, if you're not in good health, it will affect a lot of things. So guys, let's work on our health. So small daily choices will lead to long-term vitality, guys. So balance physical, mental, and spiritual health to give you a whole lot of to get you going. So I'm going to read this as we wrap this introduction up. Can you please? Okay, thank you very much. Um, I read this from this book. This book has really impacted me. It's called John C. Maxwell, Intentional Living. John C. Maxwell, Intentional Living. And it says in page 4, it says, back in 1976, I received a gift from Ellen Beavers, who was my assistant at that time. As I unwrapped it, I saw it was a book, and I was intrigued by the title. And the title was The Greatest Story Ever Told. I couldn't wait to read it. But when I opened it, I was shocked. The pages were blank. The pages were blank. Inside was a note from Ellen that said, John, your life is before you. Fill these pages with kind acts, good thoughts, and matters of your heart. Write a great story with your life. I still remember the excitement and anticipation that surged through me when I read her words. For the first time, it made me think about how I was the author of my life. And I could fill every page with whatever I wanted. It made me want to be significant. It inspired me to do whatever I could to make my life matter. So, what's the secret to filling the pages of your life? What's the key to a life that matters? He said, what? It's living each day with what? Intentionality. Each day. And he went on to say, when you live each day with intentionality, there's almost no limit to what you can do. You can transform yourself, your family, your community, your nation. When enough people do that, they can change the world. And I went on to say, when you intentionally use your everyday life to bring about positive change in the life of others, you begin to live a life that matters. I'll read that part again. It says, when you intentionally use your everyday life to bring about positive change in the life of others, you begin to live a life that matters. So, guys, remember that what we're talking about here is what keeps you going. And the theme is a life that matters. And we've discussed all this as the things that, amongst other things, that will keep you going and will give you a life that matters. A life that matters is a life that puts others first. And when you put, it looks stupid. A life that will put your spouse first, put your children first, put people first, people you're trying to help. It says here, and I'll say it again, when you intentionally use your everyday life to bring about positive change in the life of others, you begin to live a life that matters. So not everybody's life matters, not everybody's life. So if you want to live a life that matters, this is some of the things to put in. So guys, I just want to share, if you guys will stay up to the end of what we're doing, I will share with you a roadmap that I've designed or created that can help you start the journey to financial freedom. You know, a roadmap to financial freedom through a strategy that has worked for me. And also, if you're like someone, like I get people send me messages and all that, I'm happy to do a free consultation for 10 minutes. So if you went to the end, I'll let you know how to go about it. So I'm going to be adding people on the live. And I want to believe that you have learned a lot. Please feel free if you have questions, if you have comments, anything, put them. If you can't join, thank you, Jenny Flourish, for joining and others that have joined. If you can't join the live and make comments, guys, if you're maybe shy or something, send your message. Thank you, Ami Ene. Thank you, Lilian Uchendu. Thank you, Venus. And thank you, Jackie J. Thank you, Marie Reyes, Junior 10. And thank you to everyone. Thank you, Chukwebuka Jekam, for joining. I'm just going to do it one by one. So, guys, yeah. Contributions, comments, questions, bring them on. So let's take you on. Ebuka, I've added you. I don't know if you can hear me. Ebuka, can you hear me? Okay, yeah. Vincent, just hold on now. I'm going to add you soon. Ebuka, can you hear me?
Hello.
I can hear you. Ebuka, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for joining.
Can you hear me?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for joining.
Okay.
Getting you on this is, you've been a very busy man. So thank you for joining. And I'm sure people can. Yeah.
I wanted to share perspective. I mean.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So it's it's very interesting how some things resonate together then align. Just I'm somewhere now, and yesterday I picked up a book and I was going through something in the book, and I read an interesting story about some persons in the heat of at the height of Hitler's Germany, all of the Holocaust experience, and then some people that were taken in the cold of the night and when they were being taken to the concentration camp. Some of them were dropping dead on the way. But a particular man, I'm trying to remember exactly the name that was said of the man, saw an older man who was also under that freezing environment, about to be frozen, but went to the man, held him together. By reason of the fact that they were held together, they kept warmth.
Wow.
And by the time they got to the concentration camp, all other persons have died.
Wow.
But these two men survived. Why? Because they held hands together and kept speaking to each other, even though they were whispering. And from that analogy of the book, I was just reading that yesterday. Why it resonated so strongly with me is that I heard the word you used. The life that matters is the life that is intentionally lived every day, that places others ahead of you. So the author was like saying, because this man went out of his way to connect with the other elderly man, even though they were under a freezing environment, they never got frozen.
Wow.
Even when others died before they could get to the concentration camp, both of them survived.
Yeah.
But it began with that man taking a step to go and touch and affect the other life.
Yes.
So life is defined by design, by God's creative design. Life is not designed to be lived all about us, within us. we are designed ab initio by God to live to affect others. Unfortunately, many people affect others negatively, but when you continuously affect others positively, you will see that your life will always be ahead. I have small testimonies to share from my own experience that when you go out of your way to place others ahead, you will always be ahead. Jesus modeled it in the scripture. He didn't come to just do his own way. When he lived for others, he became the greatest man in history. In fact, history is all about Jesus' story. History is all about his story. So indeed, the life that matters is life that is lived. There was a time I took my time to
go ahead, Ebuka. Can you see us?
Ask was see so many you be trying ask myself what serve others. That would be my short perspective to the discussion. Thank you.
Very much appreciated, Ebuka. Please don't go. Hang around, even if I remove you to add someone else to comment. I really appreciate what you shared, and it's very profound. And what you just shared now has reminded me about there's a program on I think it's on Netflix. It's called Out. I think it's called Outlast or something like that. I think this is their season 2 or so. And I just remember they took people to extreme temperatures or conditions in Alaska, and they want to see those that are going to. They put them in teams, and for you to win, you must be in a team. And with those extreme conditions, no change of clothes. They have to find food, source for food themselves organically or originally from that environment. And my brother, you would see all manner of human behavior, all manner of character, and the prize money is $1 million, and you'll be amazed by it. I remember the reason why I talked about it was a particular guy in their team. For some reason, a team will have to be four. For some reason, two of them said they don't want to continue, or either by health reasons or they couldn't continue for one reason or the other. And there's a particular woman that was struggling. Then this particular gentleman that was in his group, he saw that this woman should not make it through the morning, so he came and stayed close to her, and so that the body warmth will help them, because it was so cold. And the woman, I don't think, at some point he woke up in the middle of the night, and he could not hear the woman's. He called her name, the woman the answer, called her, the woman the answer. He just called the medics, and they just came and carried the woman. So I just remembered it that the guy could just sleep and forget about the woman. He's not in a condition or something, but he was thinking of her, like the Hitler story or the situation you pointed about. I'm just reiterating that when we put our life, we think of others. It looks foolish, you understand me? But it's actually that it begins to give your life meaning. It begins to give you a reason to wake up in the morning. It begins to make your life matter, because a lot of people, their lives don't matter. Their lives have no meaning to them. I remember a lady that was part of that group. She said that she went, and in that program, I think she went. They gave her a task. They gave her an assignment or so. Even the men were mocking her, like other men from other group were mocking her. The lady ended up going and being the first person on that to achieve that thing. And when she came back to her group were not expecting her to do well as well. And they said her, well done for what you did. The lady said, this is the first time that she said, I don't get that a lot. And I was like, wow. I don't get, that's what she said, I don't get that a lot. So I turned to my children and I say, hey, come on, let me not, I say, I appreciate you, my son, I appreciate you, my daughter, like that. Can you imagine that someone that grown up doesn't get commendation, either maybe not from work, maybe not from her parents or something? Guys, we have to look out for other people. It's very, 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 very important. You can never emphasize it. Thank you very much, Ebuka, for that perspective. Vincent is showing appreciation, and others are showing appreciation as well as on the other side. So I'm going to call on I'm going to call on Vincent. Vincent, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I think you said you wanted to share one a thing or two. Please go ahead, please.
No, just like what he pointed out, I equally have experience like that. When I was growing up, I started driving at the age of 11.
Okay.
And I started teaching adults that did not know how to drive, and I started using it to perfect my driving. I went to my hometown when I was 13 years old, with my dad's guidance. Then I taught people that were way 30, 40 years old, and teaching them perfected my driving experience. So I think I support what he's saying. You have to lift up others to move on. Like my siblings, my younger ones, I know what I've done for them. Yeah, they're way financially stable more than I am. But at least they still give me that respect that money can buy.
Very profound. Yeah. Very profound. And I really appreciate what you shared, because we live in a life of me, myself, and I. That's the attention people give. People have part of the reasons why we're doing what.
It's the fear of the unknown in Nigeria, besides.
When you say fear of unknown, fear of what? What do you mean by fear of unknown, if you don't mind me asking?
Fear of poverty, fear of falling down when you lift up others. You understand? The fear of losing what you have, thinking that you lose what you have if you're not focused. And just like you said earlier, you pointed about the relationship. People you mingle with affect your lifting up too. People that you try to lift up, the weight of lifting them up draw you down.
Okay.
Yeah, so you need to equally select your peers.
Yeah.
You talked about
go ahead.
Social. Sorry.
Go ahead.
You talked about the cultural differences, which is the greatest thing that affects us here in Nigeria. If you go out of the country, for instance, Americans don't look at you because you're a Nigerian and African. Though racism comes in play, but when you come in there as an African, you keep your African mentality to an extent. What you do is to elevate yourself to be on top. And when you get that love and the system brings you up, that's why sometimes you think out of the box. Nobody will suppress you. You have your freedom of speech, and just like the author you just did, that Maxwell, you can hear his own experience of the book he collected.
Yeah.
There are people that you give out books here in Nigeria, they will not even value it. And he went further to read it page by page and got to a point where he had to write about his life. It's affected, and Nigerians don't look at what the effort someone puts in. They look at what you have to offer. Because even you yourself that came up now, most of you can check the people on your view. You will find out it's not. These are very educative thing. I just went to Facebook and I saw it and I came up. And I know that I just sat and watched and heard, and now I'm on air. It's just that same thing. We're all learning and we're all trying to lift up ourselves.
Yes. It's important. I really appreciate your inputs and the things you shared.
Yeah, I know. Can I also
go ahead?
A few things?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I once sat under a teaching like this, and I just recalled now part of the things that I drew out from that teaching. To be able to truly live a life that matters, every man, and I'm using every man in the generic sense, which includes women, of course, in general terms now. Every man must answer these 5 basic questions. In fact, the day I began to responsively, intentionally respond to these questions as I engage in every of my activity, not drawing any demarcation, whether it's secular or spiritual engagement, the day I began to respond to this question, I found out that after each day's task, there's a sense of fulfillment that I have. And these basic questions, according to that teaching, the first question is the question of origin. Where am I coming from? Origin. You have to define that you are coming out, there's somewhere you're coming from. You are created in the very image of God. You are an offspring of God. That's who is your father. So you emanating from there. You carry his DNA. You are made in his image and likeness. So you must first of all address the question of where am I coming from? People who have not responded to that question miss it a lot, and they live for the mundane and the material things, which at the end of the day you will get all of those things, but your life will not really count. If you remember in Titanic, Jack, when he was fortunate enough to sit with those rich men in that party in the ship, I remember he was saying that he's so excited that he was sitting with these fine people at that first class deck of the cabin, and he ended that word by saying, make every day count. I remember when I watched Titanic, Jack used that word, make every day count. So to truly make every day count, one, you must address the question of origin. Where am I coming from? The next question is the question of identity. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? You must sit down and address it. Every man, every woman must at some point when you come of age in life, really sit down and, if possible, I remember in my room in UNN, I sat down and asked, who are you really? It took me some time to reflect over it. And over time, I kept on repeating and changing it as God began to unravel his purpose for my life daily. Where am I coming from? Origin. Identity. Who am I? The next question is, why am I here? That is the question of purpose. Why am I here? That's the purpose. And then the next question is the question of assignment. What am I here to do? After you've addressed purpose, why am I here? You address what am I here to do? Because to every purpose there is an assignment. When you discover your purpose, what assignment do you need to be involved in that will lead you every day, one day at a time, one step of the way, taking you to that purpose? It is not a function of speed. It is a function of direction. Are you building consistently every day, moving towards the line of your purpose? So you need to address the question of purpose. You need to address the question of assignment. What am I here to do? And then the final question, the fifth basic question, is the question of eternity. Where am I going from here? All of us, one day we close our eyes in death. But people whose name evaporate even when they are physically gone are people whose lives matter. And those are the people that have invested their time addressing the issue of their origin, addressing the issue of their identity, addressing the issue of their purpose, addressing the issue of the assignment, and unfortunately addressing the issue of where they are going from here. Apostle Paul was not missing word. When you read 2 Timothy chapter 4 from verse 6 following, it was not a guesswork. He was sure that he had run a good race. He was sure that he had finished the race. And he was sure, he said, now is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord will give not only to me, but to every man that has loved his appearance. It wasn't a guesswork. For Jesus too, it wasn't a guesswork. Jesus was telling his disciple, I know I'm going to the Father. And in John chapter 17, verse 1 and 5, he said, of all that the Father gave me, I have fulfilled, and I'm going back to him. So for every man whose life will matter, you must sit down and address this five basic question. Until you address it, you'll be groping around. You just wake up in the morning, no energy, no resilience. You just go through the day, run through the motion, come back, you're exhausted. No inner drive. Imagine Gideon in Judges chapter 8, verse 4. Bible says that Gideon was exhausted, yet he kept on pursuing. What will make a man who was exhausted to keep pursuing? It was purpose. There was something ahead of him that he was looking at. So even in his exhaustion, he kept on pursuing. He was looking ahead of him. Little wonder the Bible tells us about Jesus. For the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame. So it's so interesting to live a life in purpose. When you live in purpose, you discover that your life takes in on a new meaning. Everything becomes intentional. You don't just go through the motions of life. You do everything you do because you know there is an ultimate reason. There is the hand of God behind everything that happens. Thank you.
My brother, you shared a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people are learning from the things that you're sharing, because I wrote it down. I don't know how many people that wrote the things you shared down, and I think they are aligned with the things that the author in that book I read, what's it called? The first one I read was Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. So I think it aligns, and I want to repeat what you said. I don't know how many people that are paying attention that wrote it down. Where am I coming from? Where am I who am I? Why am I here? Assignment, that is what am I here to do? And eternity. Guys, if we don't have these things, you can understand why a billionaire, I think he was in the 2000s or so, will, once his money, there was a crash and his money dropped and he couldn't see it in his account anymore. He went to the train, in front of a train, and killed himself. A life, a life, a life that truly matters will not be perturbed even if you lose that money. You understand? You say to yourself, like Jay-Z always say, take me to any he used to say, take me to any God's green earth, I'll triple my words. In other words, Miles Moreau will say, for as long as what's it called? For as long as there's three in any land, that means that land is fruitful. There's hope. So guys, without purpose, without happiness, without developing yourself personally, without having good relationships, without improving on your finances, without your health, and then as many as other things, there will not be any zeal to wake up in the morning. There will not be any drive to want to do anything. Also, it's important that we have all these things in mind. So I want to share one thing before I add somebody else. Please, guys, if you want to make a comment, let me know. If you want to make a comment, let me know. As we're wrapping up.
My fellowship president, so can capture the deep. Okay. What it takes to be me is not outside of me. What it takes to be me is inside of me. So you can strip me of all the money, but you have not taken all from me, because what it takes to be me is in me. It's not outside of me.
Amazing. What it takes to be me is in me. It's amazing what you just shared now. I want to say this. Ebuka, someone says, Lillian says, very insightful. And I think someone else says, Ami NS says, we go further when we go together. Well done. I want to say this thing, and I think we touched on it last week. And I also want to say, share this before as we wrap up. I think we touched on. I asked the question: if you were going to have a dinner with Richard Branson, Dangote, or with I think someone's mic is feeding back. I don't know who the person is. It's feeding back. If you guys can mute, so maybe to make it better. If you're gonna have a dinner if you have the choice to have a dinner with either Dangote, with Richard Branson, or Jeff Bezos, if you're gonna have a dinner with them, or they offered you $1 million, I said to you, go and have a dinner with them, have a conversation or whatever. Just they agreed to meet you. That's it. Or they gave you $1 million. Which one would you go for? And respectfully, a lot of people went for the $1 million. A lot of people went for the $1 million. Quite some people said why. And this was the argument. It was on social media. I think it first started with Jay-Z, and it was with Jay-Z. Say, if you had an opportunity to meet Jay-Z or $500,000, which you go for? People were giving all the arguments. So I want to say this, so that we can better understand some of the things that why is important. I say to people that in this argument, I say to them, have you ever heard of the word elevator pitch or dragon's den? And some people say yes or no. I said to them, the ideology behind elevator pitch is that, for instance, you walk into a big mall or big office and you saw the person you have been looking for that's not the answer to your prayer, and you're trying to pitch that person your idea all this while. And the person says, okay, go ahead. What do you want to say? And you only have that moment between that time from the ground zero of that lift to wherever it is. Let's call it 3 minutes or 1 minute, whatever, to quickly give your pitch. And once you do it well, the person say, oh, really? Oh, come in. Let's have a seat. Sit down. You don't do well, say, oh, no, person, I'm not interested in it. Okay, go away. So these are the things. And a typical example, I put it on my social media, is a guy in the UK. I don't know how many of you know a product called Reggae Sauce. Reggae Sauce. I don't know how many of you know it. He came into Dragon's Den, and he pitched his idea. He was looking for 25,000 pounds. He was looking for 50,000 pounds, and one of the guys invested 25,000 pounds. The projection was that they were going to sell 50,000 pounds, 50,000 products in a year. That was the projection, and that was why the guy invested. But they ended up, according to Sainsbury's, they sold 150,000 in one day. In one day. I want to say this to you. For those that were on the side of £1 million, £1 million, or $1 million, and those that were not on the side of the dinner, there are some places that money cannot get you into, guys. Even with your money, you can't enter. As in, like, there are some people that will break those doors and walk in and go and get those things done. That guy had that source. He has been doing it in his house. But by having that relationship with that man, the man only invested 25,000 pounds. So he didn't invest 50,000 pounds. And they sold millions and millions of pounds worth of product. What am I trying to say? Is that guy had the product. He did not have money. Was not his problem. His problem was not money. His problem was that to get his product into the shop, for customers to come and buy, was his problem. And money is not all that is needed to go into the shop. He needed the connection. And one thing you get with, I've listened to Cosmos Maduka talk about this. He said, when you meet people that are wealthy, don't be eager for their money. Be eager for their access. Because with their access, you go places. Even the Bible tells us about when, I think it's Esther that came to the king. The king said to her, what do you want? Who do you want me to speak to? Who do I need to talk to you about? This is talking about the importance of having good relationships. So when you have an opportunity, this is me, if I have an opportunity, wealthy person or someone that is of influence, I'm more interested in that relationship because I know that relationship can open up more doors. I know that the person's mentorship can give you an edge in life. The money, the $1 million, guys, if you could make $1 million, you would have made the $1 million and you might not necessarily need them. But if you don't have that money and someone gives you an access to them to have a conversation, you can sell yourself and the person will give you more than $1 million. I hope that I know people that will still tilt to where they want to tilt to. You're entitled to your opinion, but this is what has worked for me, and this is what I've worked for. I can go on and on. Is it my businesses? There's some business you make all manner of errors. Your mentor will just tell you, do this, and you just say, wow, why did I not ask this person? Or why don't I have the person in my life all this while? I have lost money in those things. So it's important that we put value on relationships over money. It's very important. Then I want to share one thing again. I asked a question earlier. I don't know about you guys. If you are to have dinner with one person, whether dead or alive, who would that be? I don't know. Victor, do you want to, Vincent, do you want to contribute to that? Anybody wants to say anything before I say my own? Who would that be? If you want to have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, we talked about it earlier, who would that be? So I'm going to say mine. Mine is I was asked that question by someone on the podcast, and I said to them, I'm interested in speaking to the key leader. I have respect for Japan a lot. I'm not saying that other countries are not doing what good. I have so much respect for Japan. The reason why I have so much respect for Japan is that Japan is a country with the highest number of transgenerational businesses in the world. The next country is America. So Japan is number one. So I'm interested to know the reason behind the leaders of that country or the mentality that they have, that they created an enabling environment that has made these companies succeed from one generation to another generation to another generation. There are over 500 of them, more than I don't have the numbers here. They've gone from one generation to another. They are the highest. I said I want to speak to the leader. So if he was in Ghana, it might be Kwame Nkrumah. If it's in South Africa, it might be Nelson Mandela. If it's in Nigeria, maybe Nnamdi Azikiwe or Tafawa Balewa or any other person. If he was in UK, it would be Winston Churchill, and like that. If in America, it would be Martin Luther King or what's it called? Abraham Lincoln. I want to know who that person is in Japan. I want to have dinner with that person because I want to know the mentality they have in their mind, how they were able to create an environment that their economy, that their people are creating businesses that they passed on to generation to generation to generation to generation to generation. So I hope that everybody has their own dinner. I think someone told me you wanted to speak with Hitler, wanted to know what is his mind, all manner of stuff. So I hope that you guys are learning. Someone says, whatever the mind of man can conceive, that's Amy, and conceive and believe it can achieve by Napoleon Hill. Thank you very much for that. And thank you guys for your contribution. Thank you. Lilian Angelo says, to a wider audience. Thank you very much. And thank you for your contribution. So, guys, as we begin to wrap this up, and I hope that you guys have learned a thing or two today, I just want to, what's it called? I want to remind us on all we talked about. What do we talk about today? We talked about what keeps you going. That's one. What keeps you going? And I would believe that what keeps you going is when you live a life that matters, it will keep you going. If you live a life that matters, keep you going. And we discussed these six pillars that if you are living a life of purpose, it will keep you going and your life will matter. If you're living a life of filled with happiness, remember, guys, we discussed that happiness does not come from success. You have to, success comes from happiness. When you're already happy, you become a successful person. Then we talked about personal development, and one of the key things is to be a lifelong learner and reading and keep reading, adding value to yourself. Relationships we talked about is number 4. We talked about finances, working towards a path of financial freedom, having income generating assets, looking for ways to improve yourself, to add value to yourself, working on debts and finances and lowering them, leveraging on different things to add value to yourself and improve your finances will keep you going and will give you a life that matters. Health, we talked about health. The more we improve on our health, the more we have a life that matters. What else again? Yeah, that's about it. Ebuka, I don't know if you want to say something before we wrap up. I don't know. I can't really see.
Yes. Just to also counsel. The question about if you were to meet just one person in life, whether dead or alive.
Yeah.
Whether dead or alive, who would that be? Are you hearing me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
That question about, so, I just want to encourage everybody on this platform now that whether that person is dead or even if that person is alive, don't lose hope. For many of these men that have died, they are still speaking to us today.
Good.
And you can still sit down with them one-on-one through their books. You can read their books to get to know their mind, how they reasoned. I read some books, some autobiographies of some of these men, and it keeps inspiring me when I look at how their mind functioned in those early years. People like Nelson Mandela. I was fortunate sometimes ago in 2012 to be in Robben Island in South Africa. I was in Cape Town and I visited Robben Island. I was imagining how could a man stay here and was still thinking forgiveness and freedom.
Wow.
When you read his book, you understand his mindset. You understand what moved him. So if you may not have the opportunity again to physically sit with those of them that are dead, but if you're a lifelong learner and you read, you can be interrogating and interacting with their mindset. So don't think because if you are to have a time with anybody, whether dead or alive, and say, Mandela is gone, I can't sit with him again. Their books are still speaking. Pick up their books. Some people they'll just be blowing away money. Why not on that trip that you're going? Pick up a book, read it. You will know why these men were great. Reading indeed maketh a man. And it's one of the things that has helped me. Above all, as you read all of those books, make sure you also invest time reading the greatest book of all, which is the Word of God. Because inspiration comes. The Bible says there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Most High created it upon it understanding. So don't think because those men are gone, they are no longer speaking. They still speak. Get their books, and you'll be able to know the mind construct that engineered some of the revolutions that they brought about in their dispensation.
Sure.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated, Ebuka, and thank you to you and to every other person that joined the live. And I'm sure a lot of people have learned from what we're sharing today. Remember, guys, that the reason why we have this platform every Sunday 7 p.m. UK time, Nigerian time, is to create an environment where we can share. The Bible says, iron sharpened iron. Iron sharpened iron. If you see different communities, Asian communities, if you see the Chinese community, you see other communities, they all network each other, stay with each other, and they help each other. So it's important that we have around a community where we can share. And I want to believe that people are learning from this Sunday to Sunday live streamings that we're having, like we've learned today, and I believe that others have also learned from the things that have been shared today. And just because of what Ebuka shared, I remember the words of Pastor Paul Enenche. Sometime in 2000, what are we now? 2025? I think sometime in 2023, on the no, December 26th, I was in a church service for Pastor Mary Abioye service, and Pastor Paul Enenche said one thing. He said, "Many are dead, but they'll never be forgotten. A lot are alive, but no one remembers them." So it reminds me of the things that Ebuka just shared now. It's important that we live a life of purpose, a life of purpose, a life that matters, that will keep you going when you face difficulties, when your business doesn't go as you plan, when your challenges come, when the health issues, when issues with our relationship in our marriage, when one thing with our finances, what will keep you going? Remember what we discussed. I remember what I told you guys about my encounter with the policeman. I said suicide is the number one thing on the list of people they call him out for. The reason why people keep killing themselves is no hope and nothing, no reason to be alive. It's important that we live a life of purpose, a life that serves others, so that there'll be reason to wake up in the morning, reason to want to go to work, reason to want to do whatever we're doing. So thank you very much to everyone that has joined. A lot has been learned today. I myself have been blessed. And thank you to everyone that shared. Thank you all, that those that contributed today and those that typed in. God bless you all and thank you for your time. I also want to thank those that were also chatting and typing as well. Thank you for your contributions. I want to use the opportunity to appreciate my family, my wife to be precise. She's with the children upstairs and keeping them, engaging them as and she's also joining as well. Thank you very much, my dear wife. I want to also appreciate my children for their support, helping me set up, doing one or two things. I want to appreciate my social media manager. Promise is the one that is behind all the flyers and everything you see. I want to also appreciate my personal assistant, Venus. She's the one behind um, all the writing text, all the things that you guys are saying, and everything, keeping me organized. Trying. It's not easy. She's helping out a lot. Thank you to all my friends, Okeoku, John Baba for joining. Thank you to Ebere Okafor for joining. Thank you, Jackie J. Thank you to those that have come on and gone. Ami, Dibidon, thank you for joining. Thank you, Ifoma Queen. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Lilian Uchendu. Thank you, Ami, and thank you for all as many people that have joined. Just Josie 23. Thank you, user. Thank you, Fifi06. Thank you all. Thank you, colleagues, and I thank everyone in church. Please, guys, follow this, share this live to others so other people can learn. And you can send a message. What is your big takeaway? And Lillian said to a wider audience. Vincent said purpose, and Ami NS says we go further when we go together. So share your biggest moment. Remember, guys, next Sunday we meet here again 7 p.m. I'm sorry about today. Today we had technical issues, so I guess it affected a lot of people from joining and all that, or those that join late. And we're going to be discussing the enemy called average. The enemy called average. We're going to be discussing that. So please, if you want my financial freedom roadmap, please send me a message, a DM saying roadmap. If you want that, send a DM saying roadmap. If you want that, send a DM saying roadmap, and I'll send it to you. And if you want, like people have asked me about having a chat with me directly, please send me a DM, say live, and I can give you, we can have a 10-minute free consultation. 10 minutes free consultation. And if you want to join the community, guys, I hope I can put it up in the group chat. Send me a message saying fire so I can add you. Don't worry, your privacy will be protected, your numbers or everything will be intact. No one will have access to you. It's a community where we stay together and keep, the more you stay together, the more we keep the fire alive. Okay. So if you send me a message, I'll send you all these links and we can keep going. So guys, remember, I always say, and I end with this: the wise always invest. The wise always invest. Invest in a life that matters. Invest in a life that matters so that you have a reason to keep you going. So I believe that you have learned a thing or two today, and I want to appreciate your time for coming. I don't take anything, your engagements for granted, and I hope I see you guys next Sunday. Please put a word out there, share this to someone, and thank you for joining. God bless you all. Peace. Bye bye.